It's been clear for so long that Labour treats Muslims and people of colour appallingly, and it now seems women, especially who have been a victim of abuse, Labour doesn't seem to care about them either. It's truly disgusting. It's not even been a month into this government and we've already had U-turns, scandals and lies. So much for quiet. This is going to be just as corrupt as what we've seen from the Tories. The difference is they'll probably have an easier time in the media because they've got so many client journalists willing to defend them. So Labour MP Apsana Begum has shared an explosive detail about what the Labour whips did to her during the two-child benefit cap vote. This is her on Sky News.
I had to unfortunately contend with the fact that, I'm a survivor of domestic abuse and coercive control. Unfortunately, I had my ex-husband standing against me. And, it's very well known, that history of the things that I've had to deal with. And it's known within the party as well. The whipping operation yesterday itself.
Did they come to you? Did they call you?
I was shocked in the way that I was treated, because that element of supporting me in being able to tackle the situation around my abusive ex-husband and domestic abuse was actually put into the context of the whipping operation itself.
Sorry, just be clear what you're suggesting here. So they offered you what, support in bills that you may have around that particular issue if you voted with them?
Yes.
Now, Sky deleted the clip and an article which was written. I mean, you can Google it and you'll find the headline, but when you click the link, page not found, which is weird. And I wouldn't be surprised that a government figure spoke to Sky and told them to pull it. I seriously would not be surprised. Now, if you search Apsana Begum, there's a handful of articles, but nothing from the BBC. So what does she mean? Was she bribed to vote in favour of the government? Well, Owen Jones has clarified the situation. Okay, this is important. 2 MPs tell me that this incident involves Labour whip Anna McMorrin. It is reported that on the day of the vote on the two-child benefits limit, Apsana Begum mentioned to McMorrin that the general election campaign was difficult, in part because she had to be escorted to the count. It is also reported that the general election campaign was difficult because her ex-husband was standing against her. McMorrin then reported that in order to be supported, Begum needed to be a Labour MP, that is, not defy the whip over the two-child limit votes and thus lose the whip. It is also reported that Apsana told colleagues afterwards that she was shaken and felt her request to not talk about this issue in this way was not respectful and the whole thing had been wholly inappropriate. Now, it's important to stress that Labour MPs have repeatedly emphasised that the problem with Labour's whipping operation is systemic and not a bad egg. I put these allegations to the Labour Party, who tell me we do not recognise these allegations. Now, if you didn't know, Apsana Begum was almost forced out as an MP via a trigger ballot. This was due to her ex-partner, former Labour member, and she was in an abusive relationship, and the trigger ballot process was essentially a vengeful attack from her ex, and Keir Starmer didn't do anything to protect her. Now, it seems we have the Labour whips weaponising her past trauma of abuse to coerce her into voting with the government. Now, of course, since Begum's actually a principled MP, she voted to scrap the two-child benefit cap, which would lift at least 300,000 children out of poverty. The end result, she is now an independent MP. Whether you disagree with scrapping the cap, whether you disagree with the idea that backbench MPs can vote with their conscience, you cannot look at this and think, well, this is fine. This is bullying, this is intimidation, and probably quite traumatic. It's been clear for so long that Labour treats Muslims and people of colour appallingly, and it now seems women, especially who have been a victim of abuse, Labour doesn't seem to care about them either. So LBC interviewed Apsana, so did Sky, but as I mentioned earlier, Sky seems to have deleted it. I want to see this plastered all over the media. I want to see the Starmer cheerleaders in the media call this out. Now, will they? What do you think? Either it's going to be ignored, or once again, the client media will make excuses for him. We promised this will be adults in charge. None of the scandals and corruption from what we saw from the Tories. I knew that was BS. You guys watching knew that was BS. Things like this are inevitable under Keir Starmer's Labour because, one, he's a massive authoritarian and will do pretty much anything to get his way. That's why he's kicked 7 MPs out of the party for standing up for poor kids, and it's why Apsana has been treated like this, weaponising her own trauma. And 2, when you push through policies that are harmful, that a lot of MPs don't particularly want to vote for, when you have policies that the public doesn't really support either, then you kind of have to use authoritarian means. Imagine saying, well, we can't help you with domestic abuse because you'll be an independent MP. They're essentially victim blaming here. You know, the party could have just not removed the whip off backbenchers for voting with their morals. It's truly disgusting. It's not even been a month into this government and we've already had U-turns, scandals and lies. So much for quiet. This is going to be just as corrupt as what we've seen from the Tories. The difference is they'll probably have an easier time in the media because they've got so many client journalists willing to defend them. But it won't last long. Once the establishment doesn't see much of a use with Labour, they'll attack them, and it will be fully deserved. I'm excited to say that Turn Left has significantly grown this year, and with that, we've managed to produce far more ambitious content, interviewing high-profile people. We did a 12-hour live election show. There are multiple people behind Turn Left, but we are still working around our full-time work. But we would love it if this was our full-time. It means we could dedicate so much more and to bring even more ambitious content. So if you've been here from the beginning, or you've only recently become a viewer, if you like what we do, then you can help us out. Please like and share this video. Make sure you drop a comment. We want to hear your thoughts. We want to hear your feedback. And we desperately need more independent media. If you want to see a socialist media alternative thrive, then you could be part of that. So if you can support us on Patreon for £3 or £5 per month, or any one-off donation. We can use that money to upgrade our equipment, to rent out a proper studio, and to start paying ourselves. This is only the beginning. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Patreon.com, Turn Left Media. Support independent media. Support social justice that's there on social media. Thank you, Turn Left.